Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually when we sit down to open a file, we're looking at something specific, like a new piece of tech, a historical event.
Sure, a trend in psychology, something concrete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today feels different. We aren't just looking at a topic, we're looking at a blueprint. And it's not for a building or a machine,
Yeah.
it's a blueprint for us, for people. We are diving into a project called Building Humans.
It's a profound title, isn't it? Building Humans. It sounds almost industrial at first, but when you peel back the layers, it's actually incredibly tender.
Right. It's about the architecture of the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And just to set the stage, this isn't just us riffing on a concept. We're opening what the source material calls a complex file, and it's been put together by a team of very dedicated volunteers.
It's an educational journey, really.
It is, and it starts with a question that seems simple but is actually, mind-bogglingly huge. How do you build a human being? Not just biologically, but the person inside.
That is the question of the century. And honestly, it's the right place to start, this Building Humans project. It isn't just a podcast series or a set of articles. It's a mission.
It's an attempt to answer that question with some real scientific rigor.
Precisely.
So before we get into that science, and we have some heavy lifting to do there, I want to talk about the engine driving this, because the context matters.
It always does.
This deep dive is based on materials from a collaboration involving the Love to Serve for All Foundation. Can you walk us through who they are?
Of course. Love to Serve for All is a fascinating organization. They started back in 2017, founded by just a small team of volunteers.
Okay.
And usually when you hear about foundations, you think of immediate material aid, food banks, financial support, that sort of thing.
The essentials?
Yes, and they value that, certainly. But they are united by a singular, much broader dream: better human, better life.
Better human, better life. I mean, it's a catchy slogan, but I get the sense they mean it quite literally.
Oh, they do. The philosophy is profound in its simplicity. They believe that true service isn't just about, patching up the problems of the world with material aid.
So it's deeper than that.
Much deeper. True service is about building the human being themselves. If you can construct a human who is balanced, peaceful, and capable, you inevitably build a better life for everyone around them.
You're dealing with the root cause, not just the symptoms.
Exactly. It's moving from helping to constructing. And to do that, they realized they needed tools, intellectual tools.
Which is where the partnership comes in.
Yes. They established a partnership with Dar al-Khalima Publishing and Distribution.
Now, I have to stop you there because when I hear publishing house, my mind goes to bookstore, to retail.
A natural assumption.
But the notes here call this a knowledge investment. That sounds like more than just buying books.
It is much more. The foundation isn't just buying inventory from Dar al-Khalima. They are investing in the vision that Dar al-Khalima holds. Yes, a very specific, enlightening educational vision, particularly focused on the work of Maria Montessori.
Ah.
And the goal of this collaboration is to take that academic, scientific vision, which can sometimes feel locked away in universities or expensive schools, and turn it into a life project.
Something that reaches every single home.
That's the dream.
That brings up a huge point, accessibility. Because often this kind of high-level educational philosophy is, it's gatekept. It's expensive or it's dense.
It is. And Building Humans is determined to break those walls down. That's a core pillar of the project.
So a multimedia approach.
Right. They're producing content in video, which is crucial, by the way, because when we talk about children in Montessori, observing body language is half the science. You need to see it.
Right, and for those of us stuck in traffic.
They have audio for the drivers and the workers, and importantly, it is bilingual, Arabic and English.
With flexibility for more.
With the flexibility to expand, yes, because the message of Building Humans is universal. A child in Cairo and a child in London. They go through the same developmental stages.
The blueprint doesn't change based on geography.
Not at all. And they're supplementing this with articles and social media discussions to keep the conversation going.
So the infrastructure is solid. Love to Serve for All provides the spirit of service.
And Dar al-Khalima provides the toolbox.
Let's crack that toolbox open. The core text we're analyzing today is Maria Montessori's The Secret of Childhood.
A masterpiece. And I don't use that word lightly. It is a book that genuinely changes how you see the world.
There's a quote right at the beginning of the source material that frankly stopped me in my tracks. Montessori writes that humanity has discovered flight, We've discovered atomic energy,
We've mapped the stars.
but we have failed to discover ourselves.
It's a striking observation, isn't it? We look outward to conquer the external world. We have this drive to master nature, to speed up travel, to automate labor,
But we rarely look inward.
not with that same scientific curiosity. And Montessori argues that because we haven't discovered the true nature of the child, we're actually in a state of conflict.
A conflict between the adult and the child. This is where it gets really interesting and maybe a little uncomfortable for the parents listening.
It can be.
We usually think of adults as the protectors, the guides, the ones who know best. But Montessori portrays the adult as oppressive.
Unknowingly oppressive, yes. She uses very strong imagery. She describes the child as a soul in a dark dungeon, striving to come into the light.
And the adult.
We are the ones blocking the door. You have to picture the adult as this giant of power. We are preoccupied with the external world, production, conquest, getting things done.
Our rhythm is fast, efficient.
Logical. We live by the clock.
We live by the clock. Yes.
And the child doesn't fit that rhythm. In this fast-paced adult world, the child is often viewed as a disturbance, a stranger.
Something that slows us down.
Exactly. We treat the child as an accused person who needs to be corrected, molded, quieted, or rushed.
Hurry up, put your shoes on, stop looking at that, we have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all been that giant.
We all have. And the tragedy, as Montessori points out, is that the well-being of the adult is intimately connected to the life they lived as a child. Our errors fall upon our children.
And then those children grow up to carry those scars.
And we repeat the cycle. If we don't understand the child, we are damaging the future adult. We are sabotaging the very building process we want to support.
So if we want to break that cycle, we have to understand what the child is actually doing. Montessori uses a term here I've never heard in a biology class, the spiritual embryo.
This is crucial. This is central to understanding the whole philosophy.
What does she mean by that?
Well, when a baby is born, physically they have hands, eyes, a brain, but psychologically, they're just beginning. Montessori calls the newborn a spiritual embryo.
How is that different from, say, a puppy or a foal?
Well, think about a gazelle. It's born, and within minutes, it's standing. Within an hour, it's running with the herd. Its instincts are set.
It knows how to be a gazelle.
It doesn't have to learn gazelleness, but the human child has to create their personality from scratch.
So it's not just about growing taller or gaining weight. You're saying they are actively engineering a self.
Precisely. This is the process of incarnation. The child must, through their own will and interaction with the environment, make their spirit become incarnate.
They're doing the work of creation.
Yes. And this is where the conflict arises. If the adult sees the child as just a small body to be managed or entertained, we miss the miracle of this spiritual creation happening right in front of us.
That reframes everything, doesn't it? If the child is working on incarnating a personality, then everything they do, even stuff that looks like playing, takes on new meaning.
It does. It becomes sacred work.
Which leads us perfectly into part 2, the tools of construction, specifically the concept of work. Now, I have to be honest, if I tell a kid to do work, they usually run the other way.
Of course.
But Montessori says children have a natural instinct to work.
She does, but we have to be very, very careful with our definitions here. We must distinguish between adult work and child work. They are two different worlds.
Okay, let's unpack this. What is adult work?
Adult work is external, it's productive, it's social. We work to change our environment, build a house, write a report, cook a meal. We look for the most efficient way to get from A to B.
The law of least effort.
Exactly. We want to finish.
Right. I don't wash the dishes because I love the sensation of the sponge. I do it so I can have clean plates and go sit down.
Exactly. The goal is the result. But child's work is internal. Its goal isn't to change the environment. Its goal is to create the human being.
The child works to grow.
The child works to grow. This is why a child might wash a table, scrub it until it is perfectly clean, and then
start washing it all over again. Oh, I've seen that. And the adult instinct is to jump in and say, stop, stop. It's already clean.
Because you are thinking like an adult, you're thinking about the table. The child is not thinking about the table. The child is thinking about the coordination of their hand, the focus of their mind.
The development of their will.
Yes. If you stop them, you aren't saving them effort. You are interrupting their self-construction. You're stopping a neurological process.
That explains so much frustration between parents and toddlers. We're on different operating systems.
That's a great way to put it.
And if we stop them, if we don't let them do this work,
Montessori calls this the substitution of personality. If a child cannot work to construct themselves because the adult does everything for them,
Here, let me tie your shoes. It's faster.
or stops them from exploring, the child suffers. We see what she calls deviations,
Deviations like what?
power struggles, tantrums, mental barriers, fugues, where the child seems to just check out. The child becomes detached from reality because they aren't allowed to take possession of it.
You mentioned taking possession of reality. The notes talk a lot about the hand. Why is the hand so important here?
The hand is the instrument of human intelligence. It's one of the things that makes us distinct as a species. Montessori says, man takes possession of his environment with his hands.
I see.
You see, mental development isn't just happening in the brain in an abstract way. It's tied to what she calls intelligent movements.
So we can't just lecture a toddler into intelligence.
No. They have to touch, they have to grasp, they have to move. When a child pours water, stacks blocks, or buttons a shirt, they are literally feeding their mind.
The hand informs the brain.
Absolutely. We often try to teach children by talking at them, but the child learns by doing.
This connects to that idea of repetition we touched on. The source material mentions a story about cylinder blocks. It seems like a pivotal moment for Montessori.
It was the moment that changed everything for her. She observed a child, about 3 years old, working with a set of wooden cylinder blocks.
Where you fit the cylinders into the right holes.
Yes, it requires visual discrimination, fine motor control, and this child was just obsessed. She did it over 40 times.
40 times? Wow.
And here is the incredible part. Montessori tried to test how deep this concentration was. She had the other children sing and march around the girl.
Yeah.
The girl didn't look up. Montessori eventually picked up the little armchair the girl was sitting in, with the girl still in it, and placed it on top of the table.
That seems extreme.
It was a scientific test. And the girl just gathered up her blocks in her lap, waited until the chair was settled, and kept working.
Unbelievable.
She didn't stop until she was satisfied. And when she finally finished,
Was she exhausted?
no. She looked around with a bright, happy face. She looked rested. This is the key. Adults work and get tired. Children, when doing this developmental work, gain energy.
Through repetition, they build concentration.
And concentration is the secret. It's the mechanism of growth. When a child is allowed to work freely with their hands in a suitable environment, repeating tasks as much as they need, something magical happens.
The new human nature is revealed.
Exactly. They become calm, they become disciplined, not from fear, but from the inside. They become joyous.
And that is the secret of childhood. It's not that children are naturally wild. It's that we haven't given them the space to settle into that concentration.
Correct. When the obstructions are removed, the true child emerges. And that true child is peaceful.
This seems to lead to a much bigger picture then. We aren't just talking about raising nice kids who can do puzzles.
No, we're talking about the future of society.
In part 3 of our dive, the notes describe the child as a teacher. There's that famous phrase, the child is the father of the man.
It's a poetic reversal, but biologically and psychologically, it is absolute fact. We are the heirs of the work the child did.
How so?
You and I, right now, are speaking, walking, and thinking. Who gave us those abilities?
The child we once were.
That child worked tirelessly to master language, to master balance, to construct the neural pathways we use today. We owe everything to the child.
So if we want a better society, a better human, better life, as the foundation puts it, we have to start there.
We must. Montessori argues that true social reform starts with the child. You cannot force adults to be kind or disciplined if they didn't construct those qualities during their spiritual embryo phase.
If we want to refine society, we have to serve the spirit of the child.
We do. And this involves the prepared environment, right? We can't just wish for it.
No, you can't teach life directly. You must observe it and cater to its needs. Montessori identified what she called sensitive periods,
Specific windows of time.
like a window of opportunity that opens and closes.
Exactly. There's a sensitive period for order, for language, for movement. If we provide the right environment during those windows, the right tools, the right freedom, the child learns effortlessly.
They construct a strong foundation.
But if we miss those windows, or if we fight against them, the opportunity is lost or it becomes a real struggle.
The text even goes so far as to compare the child to a messiah figure. I mean, that's bold language.
It is, but she uses it in a secular sense. She sees the child as the one who renews the race.
Renews it how?
Adults can become rigid, hardened by life, cynical. The child brings fresh energy, fresh love. She has this incredible line. She says, "Love is not the cause, but the effect.
Meaning what, exactly?
Meaning that it's not just about us loving the child and that fixing everything. Rather, when a child is normalized, when they are allowed to follow their laws of development, love radiates from them naturally.
They bring the adult back to life.
They soften the adult. Yes.
There's a beautiful image. The adult giant softened by the work of the child. It really brings us full circle back to the mission of this entire Building Humans project.
It does. The mission is to link this profound science, the vision of Dar el-Khalima, with the service spirit of love to serve for all.
It's about recognizing that if we want a calmer society, if we want real human beings who are integrated and peaceful.
We have to provide the tools for the child to build that humanity.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means that whether you are a parent, a teacher, or just a human being, you have a role in this construction.
It's not about controlling the child, it's about serving the life within them.
And remember, we're just scratching the surface here. This is episode 0. We've defined the dream and the tools.
The application is a lifelong journey.
Absolutely. And for those who want to join this journey, who want to see the videos, because seeing that child wash the table really does make it click, or read the articles, please check the description box.
You will find links to lovetoserveforall.org to learn about the Foundation's work.
And darylkalima.com to explore the books we discussed, like The Secret of Childhood.
These are resources that can genuinely change the atmosphere of a home.
Thank you for joining us on this special deep dive into Building Humans. It's a complex file, but one worth opening. As we wrap up, we want to leave you with the motto that drives this entire project.
Love for all, service for everyone.
Love for all, service for everyone. We'll see you in the next deep dive.